Hello and welcome to my Subnautica. My first look, the basics. Pretty soon I'll probably do a My Adventures, but I'm still new, I'm still learning. And I do appreciate you coming along and for some of you learning with me. So I'm doing the audio overlay after the fact. I do that quite often when I'm real new and I'm just trying to figure things out. So we're going to pick out some things in a video, the videos I've done the last several days, and I think you'll enjoy them. I've created a couple of bases. I went to the Aurora and there's a lot of neat stuff. So let's bring it to you. Yeah, these storage containers, I think they're called like waterproof storage, I used before I created a base. I might not have created so many. I might have focused on a base, but again, I didn't have the multi-purpose room and I didn't have some of the base elements unlocked. So that's kind of why I created those. And you'll see me very shortly get away from those waterproof portable storage container things and get more to creating the base. So keep watching. And as you can see, they're called waterproof locker, not storage thingy. And from time to time I have trouble using my gamepad. I use a VR. I'm using the Oculus Rift S, but the controllers for Oculus Rift S just don't work very well, the touch controllers. So I use a Logitech gamepad, and from time to time I have trouble where it tries to switch back to the mouse and the gamepad doesn't work at all. And I think that's what's happening right now. So we'll probably skip through some of it to get to really the meat of the video thing where we're actually doing stuff. It does wind up working out because I usually have to reboot or I have to close out all of the apps for Steam and Oculus and kill the options.bin file for Subnautica, and then it starts working again. So just hang with me and you'll get to see some cool stuff happen. Now the sea moth that you just got to see, now that's pretty cool. That works out really well. I don't use the little hand motorized item, you know, that you hang on to because it fills up the screen too much, but the sea moth I use quite a bit. I really like that. Yeah, you're starting to see the platform that I created. It's the foundation in your habitat builder, and like I've been told, that works pretty good because it gives you better structural support and adds to the strength of your base. So you see that I create those. Now I create them in shallow water because I don't have trouble with leaks where seams open up and your base floods because I'm so close to the surface. And my base I extend above the water surface area, which I believe keeps it from flooding. So you'll start to see some of that. And I'm only running in survival. I'm not running where you don't need food and drink, the freedom setting. I'm running survival setting or mode. So just constant having to gather food and water. We're going to be fixing that in just a little while when we create our multi-purpose room. And one of the rooms I use for farming, and we use the melons, and that works really good for food and water. So you're going to see that as that comes up. we'll have to go out to the floating island and get the blueprints for the multi-purpose room, and you'll see that come up. Like I mentioned before, now we're going to be headed out to the floating island to pick up some of the blueprints that we need for our base. So come along and join me. While we're going that direction, please look to the lower right hand corner of the video and press that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. You get notified when I produce more of these videos. And eventually it helps me out with YouTube. And underneath the video, please consider being a sponsor of our YouTube channel. We need sponsors. We need storage equipment. We need to update and upgrade our PC and our VR. And be a sponsor. I put a thanks to our sponsors, or I will be putting a page at the beginning and the end of our videos that list all of our sponsors. And the more you help us out, the more prominent we'll make it, and to the point where if you help us enough, we will even mention your videos or mention your sponsorship. And you probably noticed on the PDA that LifePod 19 is real close to the island. It's really right next to it. So if you can lock on to LifePod number 19, it'll take you near the island. And from the starting area, if you've gotten your compass module yet, and you get that by scouring the shipwrecks or the wrecks and coming across that compass module, we're headed southwest. And you might have noticed when we surfaced, there was a little bit darker cloud that was just to the left of the direction we're going. And normally watch those clouds, because they form clouds around the islands. So we could have headed a little more left and probably headed directly toward the island, but we get there. Now you're starting to see the fog over the water, and that will be the island. Island will appear from that. When you exit the craft, make sure you have your knife, because they're these crab spider-like creatures that you can use your knife to kill them, or if you stab them, they'll run away. And bring extra med kits, and make sure you're full of food and water before you go. And I try to carry extra water. You can carry some of those cured fish. Now it'll take more water, but if you take cured fish and extra water, you'd be good too. And my gamepad doesn't work great in this game. It's hard to run, so most of the time I'm slow, and sometimes I have to use 2 joysticks because it'll switch back and forth for some reason between the 2 different joysticks, and you have to press in the joystick while you're pushing forward, and it moves over to the one of the other joystick type things, and it doesn't run very well, and you have to use 2 joysticks to get it to work. It's kind of a mess, but you know, I just try to get through it because I do like the game. Hopefully I'll get my gamepad joysticks or whatever worked out in the future. On the 2 hills that are left and right as you come to the island, There's rusted buildings, and there's one in the middle too. And what we're trying to do is scan those to get the blueprints, and so that way you can use those for your base. Now yours is not going to be rusted when you build it, but you'll be scanning the rusted buildings. And you'll also be scanning those exterior and interior plant boxes and pots. So make sure you scan those too. Yeah, there's those crab spider friends that you want to try to stab or kill, because they are a nuisance. Well, that's going to leave a mark. This round room is the multi-purpose room, and you definitely want that one, but you want to scan as many of these as possible. Also check inside the buildings too for PDAs and other things that you can scan. And as we came into this area, you saw on the trail, though it's a lantern tree or lantern fruit. Take a few of those items back with you, or click the fruit part and take those back to your base, and plant those in those interior planters. And you'll see when we get back and build the base that that's what I do. And there's a melon too that I take seeds back for.
New blueprint acquired. Integrating new PDA data.
And I have learned, even if it's a blueprint that I already have, if you scan it, a lot of times you'll get titanium, or you'll get a material for scanning it. So I've gotten to the point that I scan about everything. Now, if you'll notice, sometimes a flash to your bottom right hand corner of your screen is like the little scan tool flashes in that corner. That means there's something near you that can be scanned. So watch out for that too. I have found out that this marble melon is a pretty important item. So scan it. Also, if you'll take your knife and chop at it, you can get seeds from it. And so make sure you do that, especially with this marble melon. If you only had the marble melon, I'm sure you'd be fine. Now this is the lantern tree, so go ahead and take one or two of the fruit from it, and you can plant those when you get back to your base. And this is another one of those games that really practice really helps you out. Just playing the game, you learn so much, but make sure you save and save often, and even copy your saves out to another location and date them in case you have to go back if you died all of a sudden and you want to go back to a previous save. You could do that. And so yes, save and save often. And I'm going to be building a base here at this island. There's several islands. There's the mountain island, there's what I call the alien island, there's this island. Now there's a teleporter that goes back and forth from this island to what I call the alien island. So I'm not sure where it's located. I'm sure it's probably in one of the caves. But this is a really important spot behind the island, and it's down about 375 meters. There's these dredgers, or they creep along the bottom, and they kick up like gold and silver and diamonds and all of that. So it's a pretty important place.
New blueprint acquired. New blueprint acquired. New blueprint acquired. New blueprint acquired. Integrating new PDA data. New blueprint
And you're being
acquired.
searched for by our home planet, and there's a ship called the Sunbeam that's going to be coming down at a certain time frame, and it's like 21 days or something like that. And they can find you based on the PDA. The PDA transmits back and forth to our home world, and as they get transports out, and as they get closer to the planet, that they can see where you're located. So and kind of watch that, watch for messages from Sunbeam. Kind of interesting. I'm not going to give any spoiler alerts or anything like that, but just kind of watch out for that. as I've mentioned, my controllers just don't work very well.
Preparing the day's water ration ahead of time will help ensure against dehydration and eventual death. New blueprint acquired. Integrating new PDA data.
And what I'm looking for is the sea moth icon.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
And now we have enough to start building our base. And later on we'll be building a scan room. And all I can say is don't put the scan room near your door, because the sharks will congregate underneath that scan room. So there's something about that that attracts them. So eventually, and I'll try to remember to mention it then too, do not build it around your door. Put it at the back side of your base or something, because the sharks are going to congregate there. Collect bladderfish and convert them to water bottles. So you almost can't have enough of the bladderfish. And when you cook the regular fish, don't try to keep them. They rot. And so does the crete vines, and there's several things that rot when you try to keep them. So now you can cure the fish with salt, and there's a way to do that too, and you can keep them longer. Now it takes away from your water, so you have to have more water bottles, but you can cure them and that's fine, but don't try to keep cooked fish. Now you can keep non-cooked fish, so don't cook them, but you can keep regular fish even in your storage, and they'll live. Because I've taken fish out of storage and put them in the aquarium, and they swim around like they haven't missed a beat, but just don't cook them first. I like a large pad because I have room for like solar panels and things like that, so that's why you see it's a much larger pad than what I'm putting on, like the multi-purpose room. And I'll stack the multi-purpose rooms tall instead of out. This will probably be it for this video, so I want to Thank you for coming along. Be sure to look to the lower right hand corner of the video and press that subscribe button if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you anything. You get notified when I produce more videos, and eventually I'll get sponsorship from YouTube. Underneath the video in the description you will see ways to donate and sponsor. Please consider sponsoring our YouTube channel. No amount's too small. Because it'll really help us out in the future, and we have equipment that we need desperately, and we can't really afford to add that. So consider sponsoring our YouTube channel. Underneath the video to the left you'll see our YouTube channel name, GFM_RDG. Press that and you'll see over 815 or 835 more videos that you can watch as of the publication of this video. So make sure you catch our next video. Until then, thank you for watching. Goodbye.